Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. The EZA transforming Jeets did drop today, or shall I say the EZA for him. We do have him rainbowed, we do have him level 10 links through every single transformation. He's good to go. We have him on one of the only 200% leads that I have to run him on. Like, he has plenty, I just do not have them. I just do not have the units. He has a total of 8. I have 2 of them, which is the ROF Blues and Margin Vegeta. All the other units I do not have, unfortunately. So this is the best team we can put him on. We are indeed in the Goku event, just because it is one of the only piece of long content we do actually have. So hopefully we don't speed through it too quickly. And also with the team we're running, and also Jeets before he gets to God, which is the earliest he gets going. Don't think he can really handle the other content without causing me loads of issues and getting me killed. So, how does he link with Vegeta and Trunks? Not bad. Not bad. And then with him, not bad either. So we're going to leave it like this. So starting off, we got a 321k attack, that 129k defense. Of course, he does stack 50% attack and defense every time he supers until he reaches blue. So, you know, those are baby numbers currently. 3.63 million attack stat. That's also dependent on how many orbs we can also pick up with him. He does start, before he transforms, of 110% attack and defense. An additional 30% defense on super. The extra 15% attack per key sphere obtained. So if we can get enough key spheres with him, that attack stat can go up a decent amount even before he's transformed. He'll get that guaranteed additional, which is going to be very useful at stacking his defense up as much as possible with the way content is, in the little time we kind of have right now to kind of build him up. And then that's with 7 key spheres. And then of course right now he has a 70% chance of changing strength key spheres to fizz key spheres. So hopefully that 70% chance popped more often than not, so we can try get those 7 key spheres. So not only get the guaranteed additional to stack, also get as many key spheres as possible so we can get 15% attack for each one we do pick up. So Jeets is actually doing some fairly decent damage. As I'm going through his details, the one thing that is going to be a major issue with Jeets is he just doesn't have the time to build up. There is currently no long form content in the game. The closest to long form content we have is Shadow Dragon Sin, and very soon on Global, Shadow Dragon Omega. Unfortunately, considering how hard they start and how weak Jeet starts before he actually gets going, which earliest you're looking at is God, which just takes far too long. You're looking at like turn 7. Shadow Dragon Sin and Omega are doing far too much damage to Jeets before he's actually really worth having on the team and actually starts to make an impact. So now we have him as Super Vegeta. We do have 120% attack and defense now and 40% defense on Super. Other than that, everything is still the same. So we're up to 300. We're still on 336k attack stat. What does Saiyan Pride give us? Attack plus 20%. Okay, we'll leave it like this then. Attack plus 20%. So we're up to 382k attack stat, 203k defense. We don't get 7 key spheres. I mean, if we did get all the ink key spheres in the back... Actually, no, we actually still would have only got 5. So right now, that 70% chance isn't really doing too much for us for changing strength key spheres to fizz key spheres to get us to 7 to get the guaranteed additional. So right now, getting the guaranteed 7 key spheres so we can get the 7 key spheres to get the guaranteed additional is currently fairly challenging for us to get. Because remember, we want to stack him up as much as possible. We're now up to a 5.7 million attack stat, and that is with Saiyan Pride active. No additional from the dupe system either, which is a shame. I feel like this is actually going to do some damage, no? No, it actually didn't. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'm overlooking Jeets a little bit too much. Maybe just a tad too much. But currently, as I said, having that 70% chance to change strength key spheres to fizz key spheres isn't really doing too much for us, as I said, to get us those 7 key spheres to get the guaranteed additional. And relying on the dupe system currently is, of course, all RNG, and right now, right now it isn't coming good for us, but we move. Of course, we're about to be on turn 5 the next time Jeets comes about, where he's going to transform into Super Saiyan 2. And unfortunately, even at Super Saiyan 2, he hasn't started to get going yet. It's just not quite good enough for him to be worth putting on a team, especially when he goes on a few categories where there are so many better options that you can bring that do a lot more than he does and a lot quicker than he does. But since he's going to transform into Super Saiyan 2 next turn, he does get to 130% attack and defense. Of course, he is still stacking defense by 30%. We're still yet to get the 7 key spheres to get the guaranteed additional. But now that he's gone into Super Saiyan 2, he does only need 6 key spheres, and that changing strength key spheres to fizz key spheres is now guaranteed. No 70% chance. Still gets 40% defense on Super, and now goes up to attack plus 20% per key sphere obtained. We can actually get him with all of those int key spheres. I'm actually going to leave him with Trunks for the time being. So 351k attack stat, 227k defense, 227k defense on turn 5. This is even me hating, because we all know I love Jeets. That's my guy. But unfortunately, with the way content has gone, 227k defense just isn't enough. A 7.2 million attack stat isn't too bad at this point. But this is turn 5. There's the guaranteed additional, so 2 stacks of defense, we'll take it. Not bad damage output, but this is turn 5. Like, this is when Zamasu's health bar should start to kind of come down quite a bit. This is where you're either going to finish him off this turn if you've managed to do big damage, or you're probably going to finish him off next turn. And Jeets still hasn't got going for where he's considered viable yet. That's not even next turn. That's, of course, the turn afterwards where he appears again and he's going to be in God. So it's going to take Vegeta, and that's if he appears on turn 1. That doesn't accommodate if he's floating or appearing on turn 2. That's if you get him on the very first rotation. Do you know what? I'm gonna usher just in case, because can't really get the orbs with Majin Vegeta. But that doesn't accommodate if he appears on, as I said, turn 2 or the second rotation and or floating. That's if he appears on turn 1. And where Jeets really gets going is turn 7, which is far too late. As I said, against Zamasu, you're trying to wrap it up between turn 5 and 7. He only gets going by the time, if you're getting, if you're taking your time a little bit with Zamasu, or things are going a little bit slower, he's only going to get to his finally most viable form, or start to get to one of his most viable forms, when you're about to finish the fight. It's not an active skill, you're not or a finished skill. It's not one of them. This is just when Jeets finally actually gets good, or good enough. Which just, it's too late. So right now, attack stat hasn't really moved. I mean, he hasn't linked up the best right now. I did bring SSB just to kind of trigger godly power and stuff. 366k defense, which, to be fair, isn't the most, considering he does stack. I mean, a chance of an additional built in would have been nice as well, like a chance, like a 50%, 70% chance, along with having the guaranteed if you get enough key spheres. Maybe that could have helped him out a little bit, but he now is up to 140% attack and defense. He gets 50% defense on Super, 25% attack per key sphere obtained, and now to get the guaranteed additional, it's only 5 key spheres, and of course the strength key spheres to fizz key spheres is still guaranteed. But taking up to turn 7 for him to, get going, far too late for the way content has gone recently. Far, far too late. So we finally have him transforming into blue. And to finally get him to where the best he can be, and the form you want to get him to, have no choice to wait for, the earliest you can get that out is turn 9. 9 turns. Again, you may be able to see this a lot more frequently in the Shadow Dragon event against Sin or Omega. Just unfortunately, he isn't good enough before he gets the God to make him worth bringing, to get him here, to get him out. Fusion Zamasu, you're not going to see him do anything there. So it's just kind of like, he just takes too long, man. He's decent when he gets going. I mean, we're on a 382k attack stat now, 539k defense. He's now stopped stacking. 50% attack and defense on super, 150 attack and defense at the start of turn, 50% defense on super, attack plus 30% per key sphere obtained. Of course, he does change the whole field to nuke once. So he is going to nuke right now, which is, it's nice that he does this when he transforms and does this once only with a 2.1 million attack stat. Like, he can be of use. It takes too long to get it. Does also disable enemies guard with 3 or more keys obtained. And then, as I already mentioned, does change key spheres once only. 6 million attack stat. I mean, it's sick. Right, of course. Obviously, he changes the entire field. It allows him to nuke. That double, by the way, very nice. But it's just, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it when it matters. Even on ESBR and SBR, like, that's not difficult anymore nowadays. It's, well, not that difficult, depending on the category. But too short for you to see it. You may see it in the Shadow Dragon event. You won't see it against Fusion Zamasu. Where are you realistically going to be seeing Jeets get all the way up to blue? In kind of any of the content we currently have in Dokkan. You're just not really going to see it, are you? And then, of course, he has the guaranteed crit with 23 keys obtained, which, of course, when he changes the entire field and nukes, you're pretty much guaranteed to get. Which, doing that amount of damage in one turn is sick, especially if you do hit an additional. But as I said, it's just, you're taking too long to get it. What content are you still going to be there in 9 turns, aside from just the Shadow Dragon event? Which, as I said, he takes too long to get good, to get worthwhile, to get to worth using. Which the earliest you're looking at, as I said, is God, which is turn 7. There are so many other units you can use instead of him, which would do a much better job. Much better serving the content we currently have. And not be as much of a liability. And unfortunately, because it pains me, it irks my soul to say this, because it's Jeets. But it's kind of just the way it is. Like, from Super Saiyan or base, but Super Saiyan all the way up to Super Saiyan 2, I kind of have no use for him. Like, as I said, there are a lot of other units you can use instead. God, he finally actually starts to get going. Like, he actually starts to get decent. It just takes too long. It takes too long. And as I said, that's if he appears on turn 1. If he appears on turn 2, you're not seeing blue until turn 11. What content are you getting into turn 11 on? Like, honestly. Also, especially with the type of damage units are doing nowadays as well. Like, you're killing things too quickly. Because of how short or extremely short we've gone with content. We'll have one more turn with him. With Godly Power and that activated. 421k attack stat, 539k defense. Even his defense isn't that high. Because of the content we currently have. At least when he dropped on JP, I'm pretty sure Red Zone Zamasu wasn't a thing yet. So at least maybe his defense once he super attacks. I mean, 11 million attack stats, nice. It's good. Like, he does decent damage. It's just, you have to wait so long to get this. And it's just, unfortunately, not worth it. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth taking him over other units just to get that. But 12 million is still sick, though. He does good damage. But the one thing I said on JP, which helped him a bit, is, with you know, foresight, is... he dropped on JP, I'm almost certain he dropped on JP before Fusion Zamasu was a thing. Red Zone Fusion Zamasu was a thing. Whereas now, what are you going to do with 500k defense? 500k defense and nothing else. Against Fusion Zamasu, that is literally his AoEs in the beginning, and that's it. Super attack, he gets 1 shot. Super attack on the second phase, gets 1 shot. Basic, he takes a ton of damage. And he'll take even more because, as I said, you won't get him to blue. So that's even before you get him to blue. He's good once he gets to God. He's pretty decent damage-wise once he gets to blue. Unfortunately, he just takes too long, far too long to get out of the gate. And he just doesn't fit the current content we have. He has been royally shagged. Royally shagged. So timing-wise... shagged because he come out after Fusions of Master and Global, and he also just doesn't currently suit the content we have, and he takes too long to get going. RIP my boy Jeets. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and post.